You'd think going on The Bachelorette seems like it would be a swell time, a free vacation with the chance to fall in love with a beautiful lead, but there are actually a lot of rules selected contestants have to follow.
The things you do for love, right?
Forced chats. According to journalist Amy Kaufman's famous tea-spilling book Bachelor Nation: Inside the World of America's Favorite Guilty Pleasure, she details how producers would make contestants talk about the lead amongst themselves to encourage more details to be shared and jealousy to ensue.
You are a pathological liar.
It's a journey. No, being a part of The Bachelorette is not a process, according to producers. Contestants must say it's a journey when describing their time on the show.
Yeah, so Becca and I had an interesting journey. I was 2 of 21 guys, not on a date.
It's one of their buzzwords. In fact, they make contestants retape their segments if they use the wrong wording. If we had a nickel for every time someone said journey, we'd be able to buy the Bachelor Mansion. Intense tests. Screening to be on the show would make you feel like you're going for your annual checkup at the doctor's. To be qualified, contestants must take multiple health tests and pass psychological evaluations. They also run background checks and have gotten much stricter with that after Lincoln Adeem from Becca Kufrin's season was charged with assault and battery in 2016 and was convicted right before the season aired. Plus, they screen for your personality too. Contestants have to follow through with a 150-question survey that contains multiple choice and true or false questions, like have you ever had an out-of-body experience, or if you can control things with your mind. They also have to go through a psych evaluation to ensure they can handle the intense bullying and emotional toll the show could potentially have. A psychologist is actually available 24/7 to be wary of signs of trouble. It's mandatory to see the professional again when you get off the show and talk with a private investigator as well to get ahead of any tabloid stories swirling around. Say yes to the date. The Bachelorette asking a contestant if they want to go on a date is merely a formality.
Oh, maybe we could go for a drink and just hang out.
Because they are always going to say yes, even if they may feel extremely uncomfortable. We're pretty sure in any other given scenario, these men would rather not be going bungee jumping without clothes. They're doing weird tantric yoga on national TV, but if you are the lucky fellow whose name got put on the date card, there's no headed back. Private socials. Contestants must put their social media accounts in private mode to discourage any sleuthing from Bachelor fans. This way, the producers are able to control the narrative on their own terms. No phones allowed. In 2020, it's hard to spot anyone without a phone, but when you're in the Bachelorette bubble, producers take away your prized possession very quickly once you arrive on their set. This is so contestants would be forced to interact with each other. However, they have made exceptions for single parents, like Michael A. from Katie's season, to communicate with their children. Not just phones though, books, aside from the Bible and even magazines and music, are prohibited. Many contestants said they have spent their time journaling instead. Rare movie days. To avoid boredom, producers sometimes grant contestants movie days, or what they call blackout days. Usually this happens when they're traveling to new destinations. Owned by ABC. If you think you're signing on The Bachelorette for just a few weeks, think again. Because ABC actually owns you for an entire year, having control over everything you say and do after the show. This includes having their permission to speak out in interviews. According to Vulture, Luke Parker, who was the villain in Hannah Brown's season, made this mistake and had to pay up to $100,000 to the show for doing several media interviews without permission. All-nighters. The show can be extremely exhausting, and if you are an early bird, you may not make it through the rose ceremony. The first night's elimination round with around 30 other contenders can last all night, starting from 7 p.m. until early into the morning, with people leaving when the sun is already up, and you would have no choice but to stay up the entire night to go forward in the show.
You can't sleep in a game of love.
Hush hush, you're casted. Once they announce that you have been selected for the Bachelor roster, contestants are not allowed to tell anyone about it. Bibiana from Ari's season said she only told her family, but they had to sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, and aside from her job, not even her closest friends knew. Imagine their shock suddenly seeing you appear on their TV screens. Personal wardrobe. Despite how stylish the contestants look on TV, those clothes are all brought from their own homes. They are required to follow a style guide, with former Bachelor Sean Lowe describing in his book For the Right Reasons, recalling on his Bachelorette season that you are not allowed to wear stripes, small checkered patterns, big patterns, or solid white. They also have to pack 14 rose ceremony outfits and be prepared for both cold and warm weather, athletic wear, bathing suits, heels, tennis shoes, sandals, cocktail, long, and casual dress dresses, and heavy coats. Plus, be able to fit all of that into only 2 or 3 suitcases. Someone really needs to show us their packing tutorial ASAP. 2 drinks max. Yes, there are tempting free drinks on set, and they used to be quite encouraged by the producers for contestants to consume, so they would have less of a filter. But since the DeMario and Corinne alleged assault incident on set of Paradise Season 4 after a bit too many drinks, rules have been in place for only 2 drinks per hour allowed. 21 plus. The drinking on the show is why contestants have to be at least 21 years old. Although the younger they are, the more controversy they stir, like Kit from Matt's season. One of the youngest men to appear was Matthew Spraggins from Hannah Brown's season, who was only 23 years old, only a year younger than the Bachelorette herself. No eating on dates. Imagine being asked out to dinner and served with some of the best food, but you aren't allowed to taste any of it? The reason is because they don't want microphones to pick up on chewing noises while they talk. Plus, nobody looks good talking with their mouths full. Not to worry though, because they still get fed beforehand. Filming 24/7. Once you step out of the limo, prepare to have cameras on you until your exit. Yes, this means they would even be filming when you're sleeping, because production wouldn't want to miss any sneaky conversations you might have. The only exception to this is when they enter the fantasy suites.
Can someone just tell me when fantasy suites are, please?
Not your ring. Even if Neil Lane with his big smile asks you which ring you'd like when you get to the finale to propose, you don't actually get to keep it. It still belongs to the show after the engagement. You only truly earn it if you can make it past the 2-year mark with your fiancé. Homemade chefs. This free vacation doesn't go without doing your own chores. Unfortunately, cooking and doing your laundry is part of the deal. The producers would get you pretty much anything you put in a grocery list, though. Vote beforehand. Every 4 years, The Bachelorette could potentially be filming while an election takes place, and in this case, being so far away from home, it's pretty hard for them to let contestants out to cast their votes. Apparently, the lead can easily get a ballot from producers, but as a contestant, you can only hope your family brings you a ballot as well if you're on your hometown date. Unpresidential contestants. On the other hand, if you wish to have your own name on a ballot, you might want to think again, because contestants aren't even allowed to run for political office until a year after the show ends. It's one of the eligibility rules. Sorry to any bachelorettes hoping to get engaged to a politician. Be single. Well, okay, this is obvious, but some people have not been very honest about their relationship statuses and only go on the show for fame. Jed, Hannah Brown's final pick, has infamously been called out for having a secret girlfriend at home and went on the show to promote his music. Tisk tisk. It seems like being a contestant is harder than it looks.
Oh, sick! Sick!
It could feel like a free vacation on one hand or prison on the other, especially with the emotional turmoil and drama that happens on the show. Do you think you could last as a contestant? What rule do you think is the most absurd? Let us know in the comments below. Like this video if you want to stay up to date on the latest reality TV news, and we'll see you next time on The Things Reality.